Introduction to Shastras. In this session, we will try to understand Introduction to Vedas, that is Amnaya, Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, Atharva Veda, Upaveda, which comprises of Dhanur Veda, Āyur Veda, Sthapatya Veda, Artha Shastra, Gāndharva Veda, Vedanga, which comprises of Shiksha, Vyakarana, Nirukta, Kalpa, that is Sūtra, Jyotisha, Chandas, Shaddarshana, which comprises of Purva Mimamsa, Vedanta, Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaisheshika. Then Smriti, Agama, Tantra, Purana, Itihasa, like Ramayana and Mahabharata. And finally, Bhagavad Gita. Now, we know Dharma. And the source of Dharma is Veda. If then, what is Veda? Veda is a single largest collection of Vedic mantras and brahmanas revealed to Vedic rishis in deep meditative state. It is Apaurusheya Vakyani. Veda is not originated from divine or human source. Vedas are Nityani. That is, Veda is eternal in nature and exists beyond creation, destruction, recreation of the universe. And Vedas are Swata Pramanani. That is, Veda is itself self-evident. That is, Pramana. A brief on Veda. Veda is preserved orally and it is passed to Shishya, that is disciples, by Acharya, that is teacher, through orally. Hence, Veda is also called Shruti. Researchers claim that more than 5,000 years back, Veda Vyasa documented Veda. This document is used as reference. Veda can be preserved only in oral tradition, since the pronunciation, pitch, breath control cannot be documented. That is, Varna, Swara, Matra, Bhatha, etc. cannot be documented in print format. Veda Vyasa classified the whole Veda into 4 different collections, like Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Samaveda and Atharva Veda. Veda has been further classified into Samhita, Mandala or Khanda, Sūtra and Mantra. Totally, there were 1,131 Veda Shakhas that were practiced. Now, this is a structure of Veda. As said, Veda has been classified into Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Samaveda, and Atharva Veda. Under Rig Veda comes Mandala, Sūtra, and Mantra. Likewise, under Yajur Veda comes Khanda, Sūtra, and Mantra. Now, this is a structure of Veda. As said, Veda has been classified into Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Samaveda, and Atharva Veda. Under Rig Veda comes Mandala, Sūtra, and Mantra. Likewise, under Yajur Veda comes Khanda, Sūtra, and Mantra. Classification of Veda. Each Veda has been classified into Mantra Samhita and Brahmana. Mantra Samhita, it's Apurva Janaka. Brahmana is further classified as Brahmana, Karmakanda, Aranyaka, Upasanakanda, Upanishad, Jnanakanda. Rig Veda. Rig Veda has 21 shakhas or recensions, and available are two, that is Shakala and Bhashkala. Rig mantras are rendered to invoke Devata such as Vishnu, Rudra, Indra, Agni, Saraswati, Lakshmi, and so on. There are only 33 aspects of Devata. and they are 8 Vasus, 12 Adityas, 11 Rudras, Brihaspati, 2 Ashwinis, and totally 33 different aspects of Ishvara, and with some minor aspects of Devatas only. Every mantra in Rig Veda has a specific Devata, Rishi, Chandas. Rig Veda has 2 formats: Mandala and Ashtaka. Every mandala has been further categorized into Sūtra and mantra. Rig Veda has 10 mandalas, 1028 suktas, and 10,600 mantras. Rig Veda mantras are also called Rik or Rang mantra. All Rig Vedic mantra are in Chandas, such as Jagati, Trishtup. Some main mantra Drashta Rishis are Angirasa, Khanva, Vasishta, Vishwamitra, Atri, Bhrigu, Kashyapa, Gritsamada, Agastya. Brahmanas are Aitreya Brahmana, Kaushitaki Brahmana, Aranyaka are Aitreya Aranyaka, Kaushitaki Aranyaka. Some important Upanishads are Aitreya Upanishad, Kaushitaki Upanishad. One who executes Rig Veda is called Hotru. Yajur Veda. Yajur Veda has 2 major shakas or recensions. And they are Śhukla Yajur Veda and Krishna Yajur Veda. Yajur Veda mantras are primarily rendered to offer havis to the Devata. Yajur Veda mantras are called Yajus mantras. One who execute Yajur Veda is called Advaryu. Krishna Yajur Veda. Krishna Yajur Veda has 86 shakas. Available are 4. They are Taittiriya, Maitrayani, Kathaka, Kapisthala. In the Krishna Yajur Veda, Brahmanas are part of Samhitas. Brahmanas are Katha Brahmana, Taittiriya Brahmana. Aranyakas are Katha Aranyaka, Taittiriya Aranyaka. Some important Upanishads are Katha Upanishad, Maitrayani Upanishad, Shvetashvatara Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad. Śhukla Yajur Veda. Śhukla Yajur Veda has 15 shakas. Available are 3. Kanva, Madhyandhina, Vajasaneya. Brahmanas are Shatapatha Brahmana. Aranyakas are Brihadaranyaka. Some important Upanishads are Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Ishavasya Upanishad. Samaveda. Samaveda has 1000 shakas. Available are 2. Kaustuma, Jaimini. Sama mantra is rendered to chant Veda mantras to please the Devatas. Samaveda mantras are called Saman mantra. Some important Brahmanas are Thandya Mahabrahmana, Sad Vimsha Brahmana, Jaiminiya Brahmana. Important Aranyakas are Thalavakara Aranyaka. Some important Upanishads are Chandogya Upanishad, Kena Upanishad. One who execute Samaveda is called Udgatru. Udgatru. Atharva Veda. Atharva Veda has 9 shakhas. Available are 2. Pippalada, Shaunaka. Atharva Veda primarily deals with the yajnas, which are useful for all-round development of a country and administration of dharma. Brahmanas are Gopata Brahmana. Atharva Veda has no surviving Aranyaka. Some important Upanishads are Mundaka Upanishad, Mandukya Upanishad, and Prashna Upanishad. Dhanur Veda. Dhanur Veda is the science of warfare. It is a Upaveda of Yajur Veda. It primarily deals with different Astra and Shastra, that is weapons, war tools, organizing troops, organizing war strategy. Important words are Niti Prakashika by Vaishampayana, Vasishta Dhanur Veda, Samhita of Vasishta, and Shiva Dhanur Veda. The first 5 chapters of Niti Prakashika of Vaishampayana deals with the classification and definition of various weapons and arms. The other 3 chapters deal with military strategy, recruitment of soldiers to the army, appointment of officers and their emoluments, and the duties of kings. Āyur Veda. Āyur Veda is the science of medicine. It is known as medicine from Ashwini Devatas. The main Vedic rishis who started Ayurveda is Dhanvantri, who is an incarnation of Lord Vishnu. Important words are Charaka Samhita by Agnivesha, the Sushruta Samhita by Sushruta, and the Ashtangaridaya by Vagbhata. According to Charana Vyuha, this is an Upaveda of Rigveda. Both Charaka and Sushruta, however, consider this as an Upaveda of the Atharva Veda. Main content of Ayurveda. Ayurveda has 8 specialized branches. They are Kaya Chikitsa, that is internal medicine, Shalakya Tantra, that is treatment of diseases of the organs in the head and neck, Salya Tantra, that is extraction of foreign bodies through surgery, etc. Then Bhuta Vidya, that is the treatment of psychic diseases caused by the demonic seizures. Then Kumara Bhritya, that is the management of the child. Then Rasayana Tantra, that is the administration of elixirs for the maintenance of youth and prevention of aging. Vajikarna Tantra, that is the administration of aphrodisiacs. Then Agada Tantra, that is toxicology. Sthapatya Veda comprises of construction of places for worship. It is a Upaveda of Atharva Veda. Important works are Sthapatya Veda, Vastu Shastra, Kalpa Shāstra. Artha Shastra. Artha Shastra deals with politics, economics, commerce, and finance. It deals with Rajaniti, Dandaniti, Arthaniti. Important words are Shukraniti, Brihaspati-niti, Vidhuraniti, Chanakya, Artha Shastra. Gāndharva Veda. Gāndharva Veda deals with entertainment. It comprises of Sangeeta, could be vocal or instrumental, Natya, that is dance, Nataka, drama. It is a Upaveda of Samaveda. Important works are Natya Shastra of Bharata Muni, Sangeeta Ratnakara of Sanka Sangaradeva. Vedanga. Among the basic texts of Hinduism, the six angas, that is limbs, of the Veda is next in importance to Veda themselves. The Veda Purusha has six limbs or parts. A person who studies Veda must be acquainted with all the six limbs. He must first learn to chant them, has to be proficient in all the six angas, which will later be helpful to him while gaining insights into their meaning. The six Vedāngas. Six Vedanga Shastras must be pursued before Veda to get a clear understanding of its usage. They are Shiksha, that is the nose of Veda Purusha, through which he breathes, phonetics. Then Vyakarana, that is mouth of Veda Purusha, that is grammar. Then Kalpa, that is hand of Veda Purusha, that is manual rituals. Then Nirukta, ear of Veda Purusha, that is lexicon, etymology. Then Chandas, that is foot of Veda Purusha, prosody. Then Jyotisha, eye of Veda Purusha, that is astronomy and astrology. The reason for each Shastra being identified with a part of Veda Purusha is to show the main purpose of the Shastra. Shiksha. Shiksha comes first among the limbs of Veda. The nose of Veda Purusha. The function of the nose here is the function of breathing. Shiksha serves as the life breath of Vedic mantras. Shiksha deals with Veda mantras, that is Varna, Swara, Matra, Phala, Sama and Santana. Each syllable of a hymn is to be enunciated strictly according to its measure. Clarity of pronunciation is what intended. Apart from this, octave of each syllable in high and low and pronunciation have to be adhered strictly. Udhata, Anudhata, Swarita. If attention is paid to these points, there will be tonal purity. A mantra yields the desired result if each syllable is vocalized with clarity and tonal accuracy. Life breath of the Veda, which are a collection of mantras, is their sound. Enunciation of the mantras is most important to the Veda. What do we do about it? Siksha is the science that deals with the character of Vedic syllables. It determines their true nature. The science of the sounds of human speech is called phonetics, and it is important to the Vedic language. The reason is that even if there is a slight change in how you vocalize a syllable, the efficacy of the mantra will be affected. It is because of the importance of Vedic phonetics that Shiksha has been placed first among the six angas. Varna, Swara, Matra, Bhala, Sama are part of Six Shastra. Vyakarna. Vyakarna or grammar is the mukha of Veda Purusha, that is his mouth. Grammar deals with the lakshanas of a language. The most widely used and important Vyakarna Shastra is Ashtadhyayi by sage Panini. There is a gloss, a Vritika, on his Vyakarna Sūtra by Vararuchi. Patanjali has written a bhashya or commentary on Panini's Sūtras. These three are the chief works on Sanskrit grammar. Nirukta. Nirukta serves the purpose of a Vedic dictionary or kosha. A dictionary is also called as Nighantu. Nirukta, which deals with the origin of words, their roots with etymology. Nirukta is the year of Veda Purusha. It explains the meaning of rare words in Veda and how or why they are used in a particular context. Many have contributed to Nirukta. Work of Yaska on Nirukta is considered to be most important. Each and every word has a reason behind it. Nirukta makes an enquiry into words and reveals their significance. Dhatu means root in English. In English, one speaks of the root only of verbs, not of nouns. In Sanskrit, all words have dhatus. Nirukta finds the meaning of words by going to the root of each. That is why it is called the year of the Veda Purusha. Kalpa. Kalpa is the hand of Veda Purusha. The hand is called Kara since it does work, or we work with it. Kalpa is the Shastra that involves you in performing Vaidika karma. A man learns to chant the Veda, studies Siksha, Vyakarna, Chandas, Nirukta, and Jyotisha. What does he do next? He has to apply these Shastras to the rites he is enjoined to perform. Kalpa is a manual followed to perform karma and yagna to gain purushartha. For this, he must know the appropriate mantras and how to enunciate them correctly, understanding their meaning. Also, certain materials are needed and a place that is architecturally suited to conduct the rituals. Kalpa comprises itself with these matters. Why does a man learn Veda? Why does he make efforts to gain perfection with regard to the purity and tone of their sound by learning Shiksha, grammar, and prosody? And why does he learn Jyotisha to find out the right time to perform rituals? The answer is to carry out the injunctions of Kalpa. How is a rite to be performed? What are the rituals imposed upon the four varnas and on people belonging to four ashramas, that is, celibate students, householders, forest recluses, and ascetics? What are the mantras to be chanted during these various rites, and what are the materials to be accumulated? What kind of vessels are to be used, and how many ritviks, that is priests, are needed for the different rituals? All these comes under the province of Kalpa. Types of Kalpa Sūtras. Types of Kalpa Sūtras are the Shrauta Sūtras, which explain the ritual of sacrifices. The Sulba Sūtras deals with markings and measurements which are necessary for laying and building of places and things for performing the yagna. The Grihya Sūtras concerns of domestic life. The Dharma Sūtras deal with the ethics, customs, and laws. Sages who contributed to Kalpa Shāstra. Many sages have contributed to the Kalpa Shāstra. Sankyayana have written Kalpa Sūtras for Rig Veda, Krishna Yajur Veda, Apastamba, Bhaudhayana, Vaikhanasa, Satyasada, Bharadvaja, Agnivesha, Ashvalayana. Śhukla Yajur Veda, there is the Kalpa Sutra by Katyayana. For the Kautuma, Ranayaniya and Talavakara shakas of the Sama Veda, Katyayana, Drahyayana and Jaimini. Kalpa Sutras consist of Grahya Sutras and Shrauta Sutras for each recension. Both deals with the 40 samskaras to be performed from conception to death. Jyotisha. Why is Jyotisha regarded as the eye of Veda Purusha? What purpose is served by the eye? Near objects may be perceived by the sense of touch. Jyotisha Shastra helps us to find out the position of the heavenly bodies that are distant in time. Their configuration many tens, hundreds, thousands years ago in the past or many years in future. We can find out directly the positions of the sun and the moon and other heavenly bodies. Just as one can, and even if blind, also can know near objects by feeling them with one's hands, one can learn about the positions of the heavenly bodies near in time, even without the help of astronomy. What is 50 feet away is to be perceived by the eye. Similarly, if you want to know the position of planets 50 years ago or 50 years hence, you have to have recourse to Jyotisha. We cannot, however, form a full picture of near objects only by feeling them. For instance, we cannot know whether they are green or red. For this, we must see them with our eyes. Again, even if we are able to see the planet with our naked eye, we will need the help of astrology to find out its effects in one's life, how its position will influence one's destiny. This is the reason why Jyotisha is called the eye of Veda Purusha. Jyotisha. Why is Jyotisha regarded as the eye of Veda Purusha? What purpose is served by the eye? Near objects may be perceived by the sense of touch. Jyotisha Shastra helps us to find out the position of the heavenly bodies that are distant in time. Their configuration many tens, hundreds, thousands years ago in the past or many years in future. We can find out directly the positions of the sun and the moon and other heavenly bodies, just as one can, and even if blind, also can know near objects by feeling them with one's hands. One can learn about the positions of the heavenly bodies near in time, even without the help of astronomy. What is 50 feet away is to be perceived by the eye. Similarly, if you want to know the position of planets 50 years ago or 50 years hence, you have to have recourse to Jyotisha. We cannot, however, form a full picture of near objects only by feeling them. For instance, we cannot know whether they are green or red. For this, we must see them with our eyes. Again, even if we are able to see the planet with our naked eye, we will need the help of astrology to find out its effects in one's life, how its position will influence one's destiny. This is the reason why Jyotisha is called the eye of Veda Purusha. Vedic rituals are performed according to the position of the various planets. There are rules to determine this. The right day and hour for the function, that is Muhurta, is fixed according to the position of celestial bodies. Here again, Jyotisha performs the function of the eye. This anga of the Veda is indeed called Nayana, which means to lead. A blind man needs to be led by another man with eyes. So it is the eye that leads. Astronomy or astrology is the eye that enables us to fix the hours of Vedic ritual. Chandas. Chandas is prosody. Chandas represents the foot of the Veda Purusha. The Rig Veda and the Sama Veda are entirely poetical in form. The Yajur Veda consists of both prose and poetry. It is because poetry forms the major part in the Veda, it is also called Chandas. Poetry also has its measurement expressed in pada, that's feet, and number of syllables. The Shastra that deals with such measurements is Chandas. The main text is Chanda Sūtra by Pingala. People who have received initiation into a mantra touch their head with their hand, mentioning the name of the sage associated with the mantra, touch their nose, mentioning the chandas, and touch their heart, mentioning the deity invoked. All Vedic mantras in verse are chandas. Non-Vedic poetry is in the form of shlokas. Prose is called gadya and poetry is called padya. The term chandas also refer to poetic meter. There is a meter called anushtup. It is in this chandas the Ramayana and the Puranas are composed. There are rules governing the number of feet in each stanza and the number of syllables in each foot. Types of chandas. Gayatri chandas is structured with 3 verses of 8 syllables, that is 6 into 4. Ushnik chandas with 2 verses of 8 and 1 of 12 syllables, that is 7 into 4. Anushtup chandas with 4 verses of 8 syllables. That is 8 into 4. Brihati Chandas with 2 verses of 8 followed by 1 each of 12 and 8 syllables. That is 9 into 4. Pankti Chandas with 5 verses of 8 syllables. That is 10 into 4. Trishtup Chandas with 4 verses of 11 syllables. That is 11 into 4. Jagati Chandas with 4 verses of 12 syllables each. That is 12 into 4. Purva Mimamsa. The first major Astika Darshana is Purva Mimamsa of Jaimini. The Astika Darshanas accept the authority of the Veda and the core tattva is based on it. Purva Mimamsa is based on the Karma Kanda of the Veda. Hence, Purva Mimamsa is also known as Karma Mimamsa. Purva Mimamsa does not prescribe any new karma, but elaborate and explains the karma which are in Veda. Dharma is the ultimate goal of Purva Mimamsa and not moksha. Jaimini created Mimamsa Sūtra. Mimamsa Sūtra is the largest of all the philosophical sutras, categorized in 12 chapters. It is a collection of nearly 2,500 aphorisms which are extremely difficult to comprehend the earliest commentary available is Shabara Swami's Shabara Bhashya, which is still the authoritative basis of all subsequent works on Mimamsa. Renowned scholar Kumarila Bhatta and Prabhakara independently wrote their commentaries on Shabara Bhashya. Prabhakara was a student of Kumarila Bhatta. However, they differed to some degree on the interpretation of Shabara Bhashya and wrote separate commentaries. Mandan Mishra, the erudite scholar, was a follower of Kumarila Bhatta, also wrote a commentary, but at a later stage changed his thinking and became a disciple of Shankaracharya. Purva Mimamsa accept the Veda as the eternal source of revealed truth. Veda are self-revealed or apaurusheya. They manifest their own validity. Mimamsa do not endorse God as the creator of the universe. Mimamsa does not give importance to creation or dissolution of the universe, as it considers creation and dissolution an ongoing process. It propagates in performing regular Vaidika karma with perfect execution which provides the absolute result, Apurva. Vedanta or Uttaramimamsa. Uttaramimamsa is the Vedanta, and Vedanta means Upanishads. It is the most influential Astika Darshana philosophical systems of India. The Upanishads are the concluding parts of the Veda. They expound the supreme philosophical knowledge. The word Vedanta usually refers to the Upanishads. The word is a compound of Veda and Anta. It means the concluding portion of the Veda. The Veda Vyasa elaborated on Upanishadic philosophy. Veda Vyasa is also known as Bhadarayana. Bhadarayana's work is known as Brahma Sūtra or Vedanta Sūtra or Sharirika Sūtra. It is also referred to as Uttara Mimamsa Sutra. The Brahma Sutra has 555 sutras. Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya and Madhvacharya have written extensive bhashya on Brahma Sutra, who are regarded as the greatest Acharya Jagat Gurus of Indian philosophy. Vedanta is the Jnana Kanda of the Veda, also called Uttara Mimamsa, because it totally accepts Purva Mimamsa to achieve the dharma by performing the karma, but the ultimate goal is the realization of Parabrahman or Atma Jnana, which is moksha. The three major schools of Vedanta, based on the philosophy of the distinguished trio, are Advaita of Shankaracharya, Visishta Advaita of Ramanujacharya, Dvaita of Madhvacharya. Sankhya Darshana. Sankhya is one of the most prominent and one of the oldest Shaddarshana. The great sage Kapila was the founder of Sankhya school. The term Sankhya also means perfect knowledge. Sankhya does not endorse Ishvara. Sankhya Sūtra is the primary work by Kapila. Later, Sankhya Karika is also very popular. Sankhya is dualistic realism. It is dualistic because it advocates two ultimate realities, Prakriti and Purusha. Sankhya is realism as it considers that both Prakriti and Purusha are equally real. Sankhya is pluralistic also because of its teaching that Purusha is not one but many. According to Sankhya, Prakriti is the primordial substance behind the world. It is the material cause of the world. Prakriti is the first and ultimate cause of all gross and subtle objects. Yoga Darshana. Patanjali was the proponent of Yoga Darshana. Yoga is closely associated with Sankhya. Yoga is largely based on the Samkhya philosophy. Sankhya is the theory and yoga is the practice. Yoga accepts Ishvara and is theistic. Patanjali propagated philosophy of yoga in his great work Yoga Sūtra. Though Patanjali has elaborately built a system on yoga, the fundamental concept was in Veda itself. Yoga Sūtras consists of 4 parts: Samadhipada, Sadhanapada, Vibhutipada, and Kaivalyapada. Chitta is considered as being composed of intellect, ego, and mind. Patanjali shows the way to emancipation by Ashtanga Yoga. Yoga is a self-disciplining process of concentration and meditation. Such a yogic practice leads one to higher state of consciousness. This helps one in acquiring direct knowledge and resulting in self-realization. Yoga Darshana. Patanjali lays emphasis on the complete control and mastery of Chitta. He proposes the practice of certain physical and mental exercises. They form the basis of Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga comprises of 8 anga or steps. They are Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi. Nyaya Darshana. Nyaya is an Astika Darshana based on Nyaya Sutra of Gautama. Nyaya accepts the basic philosophy of Vaisheshika Darshana. It can be said that the Vaisheshika Darshana is theory and Nyaya Darshana is the practice. Nyaya recognizes Ishvara, but it does not deal with him in detail. Like the Vaisheshika Darshana, Nyaya holds that the self is an individual substance, eternal and all-pervading. Consciousness is not an essential attribute of the self, but it is only an accidental one. According to Nyaya, salvation is the state of absolute freedom. It is freedom from all pains and pleasures. Then there is freedom from the cycle of birth and death also. Vaisheshika Darshana. Kannada is the founder of Vaisheshika Darshana. Kannada presented his detailed atomic theory in Vaisheshika Sūtra. Basically, Vaisheshika is a pluralistic realism. It explains the nature of the world with 7 categories: Dravya, Guna, Karma, Samanya, Vishesha, Samavaya and Abhava. Vaisheshika contends that every effect is a fresh creation or a new beginning. Thus, this system refutes the theory of pre-existence of the effect in the cause. Kannada does not discuss much on God, but the later commentators refer to God as the Supreme Soul, perfect and eternal. This system accepts that Ishvara is the efficient cause of the world. the eternal atoms are the material cause of the world. Smriti. Smritis have laid down definite rules and laws to guide the individuals and communities in their daily conduct and to regulate their manners and customs. The Smritis have given detailed instructions according to the conditions of the time to all classes of men regarding their duties in life. The laws of regulating human society from time to time are codified in the Smritis. One learns how one has to spend one's whole life from these Smritis. The duties of Varnashrama and all ceremonies are clearly given in Smritis. The Smritis prescribe certain acts and prohibit some others for a human according to his birth and stage of life. The object of the Smritis is to purify the art of a man and take him gradually to the supreme abode of immortality and make him perfect and free. The main Smritis are Manusmriti and Yajnavalkya Smriti. These Smritis have verified from time to time. The injunctions and prohibition of the Smritis are related to the particular social surrounding. Agama Shastra. The Agamas are theological treatises and practical manuals of divine worship. It also deals with the construction of temple and related structures. The Agamas include the Tantras, Mantras, and Yantras. These are treatises explaining the external worship of God in idols, temples, etc. They also give elaborate details about ontology and cosmology, liberation, devotion, meditation, philosophy of mantras, mystic diagrams, charms and spells, temple building, image making, domestic observances, social rules, public festivals, etc. The agamas are classified into three sections: the Vaishnava, the Shaiva, and the Shakta. Most popular agamas are Pancharatra, Shaivagama, and Vaishnavagama. Tantra. Tantra is the secret school of sadhana to achieve materialistic siddhi or spiritual sadhana. The tantras include the mantras, yantras, and tantric sadhana. The religious attitude of the tantrics is fundamentally the same as that of the Vedic followers. It is believed that the Tantra tradition is a part of the main Vedic tree. The more vigorous aspects of Vedic religion were continued and developed in the Tantras. Usually, Tantrics worship either Goddess Shakti or Lord Shiva. The process of sadhana starts as Pashu. Later, it graduates to Veera and finally ends with the state Avadhuta. Panchamakara sadhana is one of the very popular sadhana. The main tantric schools are Natha Sampradaya and Kaula Sampradaya. Some of the important tantric works are Akula Veeratantra, Brihad Neela Tantra, Brihat Tantra Sara, Devi Rahasya, Gāndharva Tantra, Kaula Valinirnaya, Kulananda Tantra, Kula Chudamani Tantra, Kularnavat Tantra, Malini Vijayottara Tantra, Netra Tantra, Niruttara Tantra, Nityotsava, Rudrayamala, Shaktananda Tarangini, Tantra Raja Tantra, Todala Tantra, Yantra Chintamani, Yogini Hridaya, Yogini Tantra, and Yoni Tantra. 18 main Puranas. They are Bhagavata Purana, Vishnu Purana, Naradiya Purana, Vamana Purana, Matsya Purana, Garuda Purana, Brahma Purana, Bhavishya Purana, Agni Purana, Brahma Vaivarta Purana, Brahmanda Purana, Padma Purana, Shiva Purana, Linga Purana, Kurma Purana, Markandeya Purana, Varaha Purana, and Skanda Purana. Vishnu Purana. Vishnu Purana consists of description about the Varnashrama, description about the Angas of the Veda, description about Shveta Varaha Kalpa, description about Vishnu Dharmotara, description about the age of Kali. Vishnu Purana contains totally 23,000 verses. Naradiya Purana. Naradiya Purana explains about various places and description about Jagannatha Puri, Dwaraka, Badrinatha, and various other places. This Purana contains the synopsis of everything. Naradiya Purana contains totally 25,000 verses. Padma Purana. Padma Purana contains the story of Rama, Ekadasi, Bhrigu, Matsya, etc. This Purana also contains the synopsis of everything. Padma Purana contains totally 55,000 verses. Garuda Purana. Garuda Purana constitutes the Bhagavad Gita subjects and also reincarnation. Along with this, it also has the description of Tarsyakalpa and also the Vishnu Sahasra Nama. Garuda Purana contains totally 19,000 verses. Varaha Purana. The Varaha Purana explains about the glory of Lord Vishnu. Varaha Purana also describes different vratas. Varaha Purana contains totally 24,000 verses. Bhagavata Purana. Bhagavata Purana also explains about Lord Vishnu. Bhagavata Purana contains totally 18,000 verses. Brahma Vaivarta Purana. It contains the past times of Radha and Krishna and also the glories of Radha and Krishna. Brahma Vaivarta Purana contains totally 18,000 verses. Brahma Vaivarta Purana. It contains the pastimes of Radha and Krishna and also the glories of Radha and Krishna. Brahma Vaivarta Purana contains totally 18,000 verses. Markandeya Purana. It has Devi Mahatmya and the stories of Rama and Krishna together. Markandeya Purana contains totally 9,000 verses. Bhavishya Purana. It has the devotional service along with the glories and prediction of Lord Chaitanya. Bhavishya Purana contains totally 14,500 verses. Vamana Purana. It has the story of Lord Trivikrama. Vamana Purana contains totally 10,000 verses. Brahma Purana. It has the details about the Purushottama Tirtha in the second part and the details about the life and deeds of Rama and Krishna in the first part. Brahma Purana contains totally 10,000 verses. Matsya Purana. This Purana provides details about the construction of temples and also provides description about the Vamana and Varaha Kalpas. Matsya Purana contains totally 14,000 verses. Kurma Purana. This Purana has the conversation between Lord Krishna and the sun god as mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. It also has the conversation between the Dhanvantari, who is the one who cures diseases. This also describes about the Lakshmi Kalpa. Kurma Purana contains totally 17,000 verses. Linga Purana. This Purana has the glory of Gayatri and also stories of Ambarisha. The Purana explains the glory of Janardhana and Nrisimhadeva. Linga Purana contains totally 10,000 verses. Shiva Purana. Shiva Purana is the one that describes the greatness and dedicated to the Hindu god Shiva. Shiva Purana contains totally 24,000 verses. Skanda Purana. Skanda Purana is devoted to Lord Kartikeya, explaining about the life and deed of Kartikeya. It also speaks about the greatness of Lord Shiva. Skanda Purana is the largest Purana among all the 18 Puranas. Skanda Purana contains totally 81,000 verses. Agni Purana. Agni Purana provides the description about Ishana Kalpa. It also has the description about Saligrama. Agni Purana has totally 15,400 verses. Ramayana. Ramayana, the Adi Kavya or the first epic by Valmiki, relates the story of Sri Rama, the ideal man. It is the history of the family of the Surya Vamsha, descended from Ikshvaku, in which was born Sri Ramachandra, the avatar of Lord Vishnu, and his 3 brothers. The ideal characters like Rama, Sita, Lakshmana, Bharata, and Sri Hanuman that we find in Ramayana firmly establish Sanatana Dharma in our mind. The story of the birth of Rama and his brothers, their education and marriages, the exile of Sri Rama, the carrying off and recovery of Sita, his wife, the destruction of Ravana, the Rakshasa king of Lanka, and the reign of Sri Rama are described in detail in Ramayana. How a man should behave towards his superiors, equals, and inferiors, how a king ought to rule his kingdom, how a man should lead his life in this world, how he can obtain his release, freedom, and perfection may be learned from this excellent epic. The Ramayana gives a vivid picture of Indian life. Even today, our domestic, social, and national ideals are copied from the noble characters in the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. The great national heroes stand even today as beacon lights to guide and inspire the people of the whole world. The lives of Rama, Bharata, and Lakshmana provide a model of fraternal affection and mutual service. Sri Hanuman stands as an ideal, unique karma yogin. The life of Sita is regarded as the most perfect example of woman fidelity, chastity, and sweetness. The Ramayana is written in 24,000 verses by Sri Valmiki. Balakanda. Balakanda begins with the story of Dasharatha, the king of Ayodhya, performing Putra Kameshti Yajna, a fire sacrifice for attaining a child. As a result, King Dasharatha is blessed with 4 children. Lord Rama, born to Kausalya, Bharata is born to Kaikeyi, and Lakshmana and Shatrughna are born to Sri Rama. Lakshmana and Shatrughna are born to Kaikeyi, and Lakshmana and Shatrughna are born to Kaikeyi, and Lakshmana and Shatrughna are born to Sri Rama. Lakshmana and Shatrughna are born to Kaikeyi, and 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 Lakshmana and Shatrughna are Sumitra. Balakanda in Ramayana depicts the life of Lord Rama's childhood and his marriage to Sita Devi. Ayodhya Khanda. Ayodhya Khanda in Ramayana narrates the arrangements for the coronation of Lord Rama and his exile into the forest for 14 years for the sake of his father's honor. Aranyakanda. In Aranyakanda, sage Valmiki tells the story of Lord Rama's life in the forest and the kidnapping of Sita by Ravana, the demon king of Lanka. Kishkinda Khanda. Kishkinda Khanda narrates the story of Lord Ram and Hanuman. The story of Vanara king Vali and Sugriva of the kingdom of Kishkinda. Sundarakanda. Sundarakanda depicts the story of the Hindu god Hanuman and his travel to Lanka in search of Sita. Yuddhakhanda. Yuddhakhanda narrates the battle of Lord Rama and King Ravana. Uttarakanda. Uttarakanda in Ramayana depicts the story of the birth of the two sons of Lord Ram, Lava and Kusha, and their coronation as the throne of Ayodhya. Being the last part of Hindu epic Ramayana, this Khanda also describes about Lord Rama's final departure from the world. Mahabharata. Mahabharata is the story of the Pandavas and the Kauravas. It gives a description of the great war, the battle of Kurukshetra, which broke between the Kauravas and the Pandavas, who were cousins and descendants of the lunar race. The Mahabharata is an encyclopedia of Hindu Dharma. There is really no theme in religion, philosophy, mysticism, and polity with this great epic which does not touch and expound. It contains very noble moral teachings, useful lessons of all kinds, many beautiful stories and episodes, discourses, sermons, parables, and dialogues which set forth the principles of morals and metaphysics. The Pandavas obtained victory through the grace of Lord Krishna. The Mahabharata is written in 100,000 verses by Sri Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa. Adi Parva. How the Mahabharata came to be narrated by Sauti to the assembled rishis at Naimisharanya after having been recited at the Sarpastra of Janamejaya by Vaishampayana at Takshashila. The history and genealogy of the Bharata and Bhrigu races is recalled, as is the birth and early life of the Kuru princes. Sabha Parva. Maya Dhanava erects the palace and court at Indraprastha. Life at the court, Yudhishthira's Rajasuya Yajna, the game of dice, the disrobing of Pandava's wife, Draupadi, and eventual exile of the Pandavas. Vana Parva, Aranyaka Parva, Aranya Parva. The 12 years of exile in the forest. Virata Parva, the year spent incognito at the court of Virata. Udyoga Parva, preparations for war and efforts to bring peace between the Kaurava and the Pandava, which eventually fails. Bhishma Parva, the first part of the great battle with Bhishma as commander of the Kaurava and his fall on the bed of arrows, includes the Bhagavad Gita and Vishnu Sahasranama. Drona Parva, the battle continues with Drona as commander. This is the major parva of the war. Most of the great warriors on both sides are dead by the end of this parva. Karna Parva, the continuation of the battle with Karna as commander of the Kaurava forces. Shalya Parva, the last day of the battle with Shalya as commander. Also told in detail is the pilgrimage of Balarama to the fords of the river Saraswati and the maze fight between Bhima and Duryodhana, which ends the war. Bhima kills Duryodhana by smashing his thighs with a mace.
Sautika Parva. Ashwatthama, Kripa and Kritavarma killing of Upapandavas.
Strī Parva. Gandhari and other women of the Kauravas and Pandavas lament on the death of their men. Gandhari curses Krishna for the massive destruction and the extermination of the Kauravas. Shanti Parva. The crowning of Yudhishthira as the king of Hastinapura and instructions from Bhishma for the newly anointed king on society, economics, and politics. This is the longest book of the Mahabharata. Anushasana Parva. The final instructions from Bhishma. Ashvamedika Parva. The royal ceremony of the Ashvamedha conducted by Yudhishthira. The world conquest by Arjuna, the Anugita, is told by Krishna to Arjuna. Ashramavasika Parva. The eventual death of Dhritarashtra, Gandhari, and Kunti in a forest fire when they were living in a hermitage in the Himalayas. Vidura predeceases them, and Sanjaya, on Dhritarashtra's bidding, goes to live in the higher Himalayas. Mausala Parva. The materialization of Gandhari's curse, that is, the infighting between the Yadavas with maize and eventual destruction of the Yadavas. Maha Prashtanika Parva. The great journey of Yudhishthira with his brothers and wife Draupadi across the whole country, and finally their ascent to the great Himalayas, where each Pandava falls except for Yudhishthira. Swargarohana Parva. Yudhishthira's final test and the return of the Pandavas to the spiritual world. Bhagavad Gita. The most important part of the Mahabharata is the Bhagavad Gita. It is a discussion between Lord Krishna and Arjuna in the battlefield before the commencement of the great war. Bhagavan Sri Krishna becomes the charioteer of Arjuna. Arjuna gets confused about the priorities of dharma, as in the war he has to kill his gurus and relatives. Sri Krishna explains the essentials of implementation of karma to Arjuna and sets the priorities of dharma straight. Just as in the Upanishads contain the cream of the Vedas, so does the Gita contain the cream of the Upanishads. The Upanishads are the cows. Lord Krishna is the cowherd. Arjuna is the calf. The Gita is the milk. The wise men are those who drink the milk of the Gita. The Gita is the most precious jewel of Hindu literature. The Gita teaches the fundamentals of Vedas, Mimamsa, Vedanta, Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, and Dharma Shastra of synthesis. It ranks high in the religious literature of the world.
End of part 5. This concludes part 5. Thank you for your participation. Any queries, if any, please feel free to contact us in the below mentioned referral. Now, you can graduate to part 6.